Hello, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the brand new Tailfin Aeropack Cargo. Now this is the new product from Tailfin. However, if you've been watching my videos over the past probably 3 or 4 years now, you would have seen I've been using some of the early prototypes of this and I've had a lot of questions about it. So I thought I'd just do a little video showing the production model which is now available. So as you can see, this is basically an evolution of the original Aeropack. So the main thing is the construction's fairly similar. The main thing is that there is now these side pockets. Now each side pocket is 3 litres and the main body of it is 18 litres. So it's got the same roll top as the other bags, but also there's now this really cool rubber strap which goes over. Now I've been trialing this, as I said, for a number of years. I am on the Tailfin R&D division, so I am kind of lucky enough to get a lot of the prototypes and do a lot of the testing at some of the toughest ultra races and bikepacking events out there. And yeah, I just thought in this video I'd give you a quick rundown of the product. It's not going to be a review as such because, as I said, I am on the I've been involved in the development, so I'm only going to say good things about it. And I'll show you basically the assembly as well, because it comes kind of flat pack. And then I'll show you some of the prototypes that I've used along the way and that some of the other riders in the R&D division have used. And just show you how kind of the ideas go from kind of initial stage to the final production. So yeah, first up, I'll do a little unboxing and show you how the whole system goes together. So this is how the Aeropack Cargo comes. As you can see, it's quite a cool little flat packs box, and it basically comes in 2 parts. So there's the main body in this box here. As you can see, it's all nice and flat in there, so we'll get rid of that. And you will need to do some assembly when it arrives. So as you can see, it only comes with the internal frame and the kind of the bag skin fitted, and then you get another box here which is basically the hardware that allows you to connect it to the bike and the arch. So we've got the brackets for the arch there, and we've got the parts that you use to clamp it to your seat post or frame. That's the other half of the arch mount, and as you can see, that is the main part of the clamp. So what you have to do is basically fit them to the bolts. These bolt into the internal frame, so obviously that will go on the top there, and the arch support will go onto the bottom. You can see it's all fairly simple. And then obviously I've not got a new arch with this, so you can buy the arches separately depending on whether you want a carbon arch or an aluminium arch, or whether you want to fit a like the panniers on. So I'm going to take the arch off one of my older packs and get it all assembled. So I'll just show you how it goes together, and yeah, and then I'll show you some more on the development of the product. So the first stage is just fitting the arch. Now, as I said, this is off a previous bag that I've been using. Arch is a little bit scuffed up, but structurally it's still fine. I used this for the Atlas Mountain Race, so it got slid across some rocks when I was quite tired at night, but that's fine. So what you want to do, firstly, you want to make sure the little silver clip releases on the back and kind of the hinges forward. At this stage it's not super important, but just when you assemble it to the bag you need to remember that. So you take what you do is you take the main part of the mount, pop that on. So you might have to use a little bit of force, but you should be able to do it with fingers. There's just a bit of a bushing on there. So you push that on there, and as you can see, it's kind of in place like that. And then essentially what you do is you just take the other side, do the same again, and then that will mount into the base unit. So push that in, and then you can see you might just have to flex the bracket up a little bit, and that should just seamlessly slot in. Oh, did it first time on camera, that's quite lucky, isn't it? And then there's just a bolt that goes into the top there. Bolt, so you just put that in there, give it a spin up, just tighten it. I mean, it doesn't have to be over tight because it's, you know, the bolt's not going to go anywhere, but just take up the tension in it. And there we go. Then the arch is then ready to be mounted onto the bag itself. So next stage, we just got to bolt this onto the bag. So as I previously said, you want to just be making sure that the arch is kind of that way around. So the clips want to be at the sort of base of the bag, if you can see that. And then when it's on the bike, they'll open the right way. So what we do is just line up the holes. You might just need to just jiggle them around a little bit. Essentially there's an aluminium frame inside the bag here. So you might just take a little bit of playing around just to get things lined up. Once you get them going, they're fine. But just getting that first thread can be a little bit fiddle. There we go. So that's in. So just thread that up and do the other side too. So once the main frame is in place, then all you need to do is just put the little clamp on for the seat post clamp. And again, very similar, same T25 bolts on there. So again, just line up the holes. You might need to just fiddle around a little bit just to get it lined up. This has gone in first time, which is pretty good. I think once the rear holes are in, it does make the whole sort of bag just line up a bit better on the frame inside. But yeah, it's not really a major issue at all. And yeah, do that up. So 2 bolts on the front. Again, fairly tight, but there is thread locker on the bolts, so they're not really going to just rattle out. But obviously, you know, you're going to be riding a bike. You know, it's going to be vibrations, so you know, over time they could loosen if there wasn't the thread lock and if they're not fully tight. But I just do it. I mean, this is the classic TAR method. That's about right. So there we go. That is the bag mounted on the arch. So now just clip it on your bike. So obviously this is the final production model, all assembled now, got the carbon arch on there. As I said, this carbon arch has been used previously, so it's a bit scuffed up, but you know, it's a good thing about Tailfin products, they are modular, so you can add to them or change them. If you wanted to put the arch with the panniers on, you could just buy the new arch and not have to do the whole pack. Equally, if you do have one of the original Aeropacks and you want to upgrade to the cargo version or variant, and you want to sort of do it on a budget, you can also just buy the outer skin. So there is like a tubular frame within the pack, so you can take that out and then you can put that within the new fabric section, and that'll basically be a very cost efficient way of upgrading. Obviously Tailfin stuff is pretty expensive, but it lasts, and hopefully showing you some of these prototypes that I've been using for years now will kind of convince you that it's probably worth paying the money. So yeah, first up, this is I think this might have been one of the very original prototypes. So when I first started working with Tailfin, which was 2022 now, or tail end of 21 into 22, my plan was to go to the Tour Divide, and I just wanted a bit more capacity on the bags. Now I think this was probably, if not the first, then one of the first 2 or 3 of the kind of basically this Aeropack concept. And as you can see, basically I asked if they could make some little side pockets so I could put my rain jacket and rain trousers in on the outside. So there's 2 reasons for this. Firstly, so that I could just grab them nice and quickly, I didn't have to undo the pack. And secondly, you know, if they were slightly damp or wet, then they were stored outside the pack, because inside I was going to keep my sleeping gear. I didn't want my sleeping gear, which I want to keep dry, my dry items, I didn't want that getting kind of wet because I put rain gear inside it. So that was the original concept. The other thing was the original Aeropack, if you remember, had the clips rather than these rubber straps, and I found them a little bit fiddly, and basically we wanted something that was a little bit quicker and easier to use, and also could give you a bit more compression. So basically we used the standard cargo straps from Tailfin, and they were mounted onto this bag. And as you can see, this original one, it's basically 2 straps, you know, linked together, and there are some little slots underneath, and basically it squashed the whole bag together. Basically when I'm racing these races like Tour Divide or, you know, Silk Road, Atlas, whatever, I like to basically be able to just shove everything in the rear pack, especially sleeping gear. I don't like to have to kind of be too neat about it. So basically allowing having the compression straps on the bag itself allowed me just to stuff everything in and then just cinch the bag really tight, keep everything compact. And it worked really well. So yeah, this is, that's version, let's say, number 1. Now, as I said, version number 1 was one of the very original packs, and at that point, the R&D team on Tailfin was relatively small. But in the meantime, sort of end of 2022 into 2023, people like Justinas Levaker joins, and kind of you started seeing more of this style of pack, which let's call this version 2. In reality, it's probably version 4 or 5. If you've seen any of these white packs on riders, then these are all kind of custom, or well, these bags are probably going to be prototyped rather than custom. So I suspect if you looked at Justinas's white packs, they'll be slightly different, but through probably sort of 10, 15, almost 20 different prototypes that have been out on various riders, the form is starting to kind of really come together. So if you look at this, you'll see this one, I got this last year, so 2024. First use it for the Accursed Mountain Race, and this is very, very close to a production model in terms of form, size. You can see the pockets are very similar. There's a bit more like refinement on the closing system. So here we're just using a single strap rather than 2. 2 straps work well, but to be honest, they were a bit excessive. So subsequent packs ended up just having 1 kind of strap on there, and you can see rather than looping underneath like that original version I had, there is now, these are 3D printed, but these were kind of like the 3D prints that then went on to inform the production packs, which are then stitched directly onto this pocket. And the main difference is you can see the pocket, whereas on the original one it was more of a front loading one. These are the side loading ones you see on the production ones. They're also much bigger, much quicker, and much easier to get into. Definitely better than that original version I had. So yeah, these are the 3-litre ones you see on the production. Still made out of Dyneema. Again, pretty good. It does have its drawbacks. I mean, this has had a battering, so it's a bit scuffed in places. So I think the production ones will be much more waterproof. They've also introduced well, there was a small air vent on the front here, whereas on the production one you now get the proper twist vent, so you can fully seal it. So this wasn't fully waterproof, but to be honest, I never really trust bags to be fully waterproof, because if you're putting wet stuff in there, everything gets wet anyway. So I prefer a little breathability, and I quite often use these. I've actually found a nice crepe in there. God knows how long that's been in there, and tissues. I put stuff like that in the side here. So yeah, really useful. This one started having the rear light mounts on there, which are on the production version, and the reflective stuff. And also you could then put the, it's got the tubular design, so you could start putting the accessories on the back for light mounts. So that is a setup. I actually used this for the Atlas Mountain Race this year, so that's where the crepes come from. But yeah, that's done quite a few big events now. And that was the stepping stone onto which we see in front of me now is the final version. So again, a little bit further refinement, a bit more reinforcement around the pocket. As I said, you've got the valve on there, 18 litres. You can see all the kind of clamps and stuff, or the mounting system for the strap is now injection molded and a little bit more, hard wearing. 3D printing stuff is great, but it is a bit more delicate, so you really want to get these proper molds in there. Still got the same pattern on the back as the prototypes. Got the reflective stuff, got the light mounts, and you can put additional mounts on the back here underneath. So yeah, there we go. So there we have it. That is the Tailfin Aeropack Cargo, the new product from Tailfin. A long time coming, but as you can see by the amount of development and sort of the process, the amount of prototypes, Tailfin don't really rush stuff to market, which can be frustrating when you run a YouTube channel and you're running prototypes and everyone asks you in the comments exactly when they're going to be launched, because quite frankly I have no idea. But they're out now. You can get them on the Tailfin website. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this marginally interesting and useful. And yeah, see you again in another video.